Good lord. Okay, so I have rewatched Moral Oral Nature Part 1 and 2, which is kind of like it is two of the most hard-hitting episodes of the entire show. Probably like the two. I guess since they're like so it's basically like a 22-ish minute runtime. So Moral Oral, if you don't know and you've clicked on this video, is basically a 2005 adult show. That was a stop motion. A stop motion. Yeah, you probably never heard of that. An adult animation that is a stop motion, bro. Like this shit is absolutely fucking goated. Like this is the best fucking show, honestly. Uh when you want to watch something like fucked up, like the best is I'd probably say like Steven Universe or Adventure Time. But it depends on like the vibes, for sure. But basically the premise is there is this kid and his whole thing is I'm trying to be the best Christian that I could be. They're Protestant. But basically every single time that he tries to be like the best that he could be, it gets fucked up. Like really fucking bad. The first episode, there's like the sermon is basically like, oh, God's greatest gift is life. And then Moral's like, okay, well, your grandpa's sinning because he's fucking dead. So what if we do some witchcraft? Bring it back to life. The city's up, everybody's upset, but it's not because of the zombies. It's because of the fucking that they're naked. Because they're like, oh, like they're pretty smelly. Yeah, I wonder why the decomposing bodies are smelly. And then he's like, well, we'll get them some new clothes. Takes off their clothes, doesn't get them new clothes, which okay. Basically this is not about that, but that was like the first so now we're gonna get into it. So trigger warning for everything. I don't just kidding. But alcoholism, homophobia, religious things. So probably just don't watch the rest of this video. I don't know. I probably already I don't know. Anyway, so basically Moral is super fucking excited because, this is his dad. He wants to impress him. He's been wanting to impress his dad for the entire show, and his dad hasn't really been that proud of him for anything that he's done ever in his life. But, he's trying to impress his dad. Is kind of like the core reason of why he's trying to be a good Christian is that he wants his dad to be proud of him. Um, you know, and that's kind of like uh, that's like the approval that he's trying to get so hard that he is never gonna get. And his dad, Clay Puppington, is yeah, I know. It's like they're because they're puppets. Their last name is like Puppington. It's like it's so fucking the 6'7". I don't know. Anyways, so that being said, um, he finally says, "I feel uncomfortable hunting with you," and this is the first time that he has ever said to his dad that he has felt uncomfortable. And kind of like seeing the peak of his father's alcoholism, which is related to like him being gay and having married Oral's mom. I forget her name, but anyways, basically he's trying to like continue the marriage because he has to. And he married her because he had to be able to maintain the hierarchical position that they have, which is basically that he's the mayor, which we don't find out until like pretty late into the show. Like in the beginning, he's just like, oh, like my dead end job, which like I could see that because like where do you really go from being the mayor? I don't know, but he doesn't want to be the mayor. He doesn't want like any of those things. And I feel like a lot of times with um with like with like queer characters in particular that we don't often know how to write them in a way that is not indicative of the entire community but is also not like like the Powerpuff Girls, like him. Like I love him, but like that girl is every stereotype. Girl is every stereotype type shit. So in the sense that, because he's not like developed, which is not like a problem that we have with like Moral Oral, but it also like like this is like the main episode that feels really like real to me. Like a lot of the other episodes like I'll watch and like I'll laugh a lot. I'll laugh at this one too, but it's like god dang. This one is kind of the one that I will like generally skip over a lot when I'm like rewatching um the show, but kind of like in like with basically this is like the peak of his dad's alcoholism. Before that, Moral kind of doesn't have any type of idea that his father is, like addicted in any like way, shape, or form, or that he has any of these, like, because he thinks, like, oh, like you say you love my mom, of course you do, because he's like, what, like 10, 11, you know? So it, it's it's just so interesting because it is the first time that you see him being able to actually stand up to his father and to not like continuously take his shit like he has for the entire show. Like the entire show before this is, like him like letting like him like not fighting back when his dad, like demeans him or like spanks him with a belt or like whatever. Like the entire rest of the show with like before that is kind of like showing that trust that he has in his dad and how that trust is really not earned or like it's not earned but it is very like justified, because that's like his dad. But you know, and he shoots Oral in the leg and falls asleep after Oral has shot like the alcohol. But the fake out does always get me. I'm like, oh my god, wait, did he just shoot his dad? What the fuck? That's not how I remember it. Like, girl. But so this is kind of like um and his dad is also cheating on Oral's mom with Oral's gym who it is a whole other character. But basically, he ends up shooting Oral in the leg. Not on accident. Mind you, it was not even on accident. Had it been on accident, that would have been at least negligent. And that wouldn't have been outright like you legitimately just shot me in the leg. But no. But no, he shot him in the leg. On God, bro. Like, shit, shit's wild. Because he was like, "You've disobeyed me. Kapow." Like, what the fuck? Dude, like, what the fuck? But, he's basically like trying to teach Oral the lesson of, like, you're gonna respect me because you have to. Period. The end. For your general safety, and not in the sense of, oh, of course you respect me, I'm your father. It's, of course you respect me, I will physically endanger you if that is not the case, or if I ever feel like that is not the case. So, the like, and then he kind of goes into like his whole like um and before that he goes into like his whole spiel on like women trying to get me to love them, uh type shit, um which kind of does make a lot of, like a lot of sense for him. But yeah, and then there's my favorite line. So when Oral is going to shoot the bear, because even though this is after his dad shot him, he still kind of wants to make his dad proud a little bit. Like, it's still there a little bit, but a lot of it is that he knows that he's not going to be able to go home until he shoots something, which isn't going to be the bunny, because which, I mean, like, I guess I don't get why, like, outside of uh outside of most situations, personally, I don't want to eat a bunny. You know, if you have to, you gotta do what you gotta do. But I wouldn't willingly go out into the forest and shoot a bunny, even if it's like an invasive species one. I know with a lot of with a lot of hunting, it's like the invasive species, and like trying to like not fuck up the ecosystem. But I still couldn't do it personally. That's I don't like blood. I don't like any of those things. But he kind of frames it with Oral as like, you have to do this so that you're a man, is basically like the premise of that. But when his dad goes to sleep after he like puts the sleeping bag back on him, because he said that when he's been asleep for like 13 consecutive hours after Oral's been shot, and probably, I mean, I don't know if like the correct terminology is a major artery, but he hit something, like, that's for sure. He didn't like not hit anything, but um yeah, so that's not great. We don't love that. But so after so at the end, when he comes back after having gone to um the doctor, um wait, we're going back to the bear. Going back to the bear. Sorry, Mr. Bear, but my dad's a Okay, we're moving on. We're moving on. But he decides that he doesn't even want his dad to be proud of him. He doesn't even want that from him anymore, that he's not seeking that validation from his father when he says, "No, I did not shoot the bear." And that he's not, like worried about not necessarily just like the potential consequences of that and ending up dying in the woods, but that he's standing 10 toes down on it. That he has ultimately decided, fuck that and fuck you, and I'm done, you know? And that's kind of like why it stood out to me so much. But a lot of the episodes are kind of like going into not only like Oral's mom, but like also like a lot of the other characters in town get like an episode, and the total runtime, I'm sure the finale would have been a lot better had this show not gotten fucking canceled. But it's kind of wild that this, that it came out when it did. Just because, like, god dang. Like, I like a lot of the, like, I don't enjoy the corporate friendly gays. We could do child friendly for like certain things, like if it's like a kids show in particular, but I just feel like overall with the media landscape today right now, we are afraid of having characters that are complex and the potential implications of that. And that's something that we need to literally fucking get over, because I don't want perfect, stereotypical gay characters, or even like or also like what I've been seeing is kind of like the inverse of the stereotype, where it's like, oh, here is, like, instead of the stereotypical lesbian being like a man hater, this that, we have like, like soft pretty lesbian, um which is fine, but when you don't make her a person either, that's when it kind of does lean into it. And that doesn't mean that it needs to be like the whole show or whatever. Like, just write characters like normal fucking people. Like, just make your characters human, because that is the worst. I would rather have a character that I genuinely, to the core of my being, fucking hate, because of because of what they've done to people and how they've acted, than to have all characters that I am like okay with. Like, I don't enjoy the complete neutrality of that. So, yeah, I'm gonna go drink some water. Ka-chow.
Drink water! It's been a while since I've done that.